I wonder if Uncle YouTube is going to demonetize me for that. What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. So today's video is all about answering the Q&A questions, some of the comments you guys left in the previous video where I announced my new cosplay of the Crow. I've got, I think, 22 questions to go through today, so let's dive into it. And also, I will be addressing this beautiful specimen behind me at the end of the video. Do you watch the channel Odin Makes? I do. I am a religious subscriber to Odin Makes. I love the stuff he does. The guy is a creative genius. I actually still need to watch his latest video of how he made the plastic Freddy Krueger glove, because I'm wanting to do a Freddy cosplay eventually sometime next year, hopefully, and I want to construct a plastic glove. I have in the past, but the plastic I used wasn't exactly the best, and it kind of like warps and went flat again, and I want something that's going to hold its shape. So I have that bookmark to watch, so that's going to be pretty interesting, and hopefully I can pick up some tips. But Odin is just crazy good. Like, his channel has just shot right up, and he so deserves it. He's a talent bag. Since we're coming up on the new Godzilla movie from Legendary Pictures, could we see some custom collectibles in the future? Absolutely. I have no idea what's going to be coming out in terms of merchandise for the new Godzilla film. That's the one with Millie Bobby Brown. But I would definitely love to make over or pimp out, you know, a relatively decent sized Godzilla figure, re-detail it, do a nice dynamic base with rubble crumbling all around it. So I've already got the idea in my head, pretty much like what I think it was a Prime 1 statue or a Sideshow Collectibles statue, something to that effect with that kind of dynamic base going on. So that is definitely on the cards. In your opinion, what do you think is the most overdone cosplay? I don't think there's one set overdone cosplay. I honestly think it depends on what is trending at the time and what film or anime or series or cartoon, whatever has come out at the time. Like, for instance, when Deadpool came out, the abundance of Deadpool cosplays was just ridiculous. It was just not overkill, but it was overwhelming. And then when Suicide Squad came out, we had all the Harleys left, right, and center. And when Batman v Superman came out, we had all the Batflecks, and I'm guilty. So I really don't think there's just one overdone cosplay. I think it just depends on what's happening at the time and what's trending at the time and what's the hot topic at the time. Now, this is in regards to my Crow cosplay. Are you going to have the black guitar? That probably wasn't a question for the Q&A, but I'll include it in here anyway because I didn't address it in the previous video. Yes, I am going to have the black guitar. I don't know what I'm going to do to it in terms of customizing it, but I will just be getting a cheap electric guitar, whether it be off Fleabay or, you know, a second-hand store, a pawn store, something like that. I will be customizing it. I don't know what I'm going to do to it yet, but I really want to make it just gnarly, beastly, and just something very different to what we've seen with the Crow in previous instances and, you know, the original source material. So, in other words, a Cosplay Chris Crow guitar. Q&A question: what is your favorite cosplay you've ever done, and what cosplay would you like to do in the future? I just have to say that I got to cosplay because I always loved cosplays, but watching your videos got me into making my own cosplay. My first ever was Red Hood. First off, that is awesome. I'm glad that, you know, I can inspire you to do that, and then that's really sick that your first one was Red Hood. That's a good choice. So, my favorite cosplay would probably have to be Whiplash. 4 months of just sheer blood, sweat, and tears between Miles and myself, and the payoff was just amazing. Like, we couldn't have been happier with the end result. A cosplay that I do want to do in the future, which is going to be hopefully sometime next year, is Superman. I want to do the 1990s black mullet Superman from the comics. That's the one I grew up with, whether it be the regular blue suit or the black suit, the reborn suit. It's something I definitely want to tackle. I do have a muscle suit on the way from my good mate El Fett. So that's going to be the basis for that costume. In terms of the material, I want it to be raised texture and stuff like that, much like, you know, Batfleck, something to that effect. So eventually I do want to do Superman. Like, you'd think I would have done it ages ago, but honestly the timing just hasn't been right, and I've always wanted to do the 1990s one, like I said, and now I think the time's right. Seeing that the hair's a bit longer, I can really take advantage of that. Hi Chris, could you do a custom collectible and a cheap Halloween store Freddy Krueger glove? Absolutely, I actually did a custom collectible even though I didn't film it, and not even when I started the channel years ago. I bought the Freddy vs. Jason Ruby's plastic glove in LA at this costume shop back in 2010, brought it back home in my suitcase, repainted it, made the plating look like copper, redid the blades. Actually, I ground the blades right off and reshaped them and redid the templates and everything and put bevels on the plastic, and it turned out quite good. I was quite happy with it. So that's definitely something I'd love to do down the track. I don't know if I'd tackle the original plastic gloves, because those things are just so flimsy and cringy to look at. It's like polishing a turd. Actually, isn't that what custom collectibles are all about? Chris, have you ever thought of doing an Azrael cosplay? In my opinion, I think Azrael looks the best in Arkham Knight. That's my favorite incarnation of him. He just looks like a badass, and that armor looks beautiful, but I guess the R&D, the trial and error, the materials, the labor and everything, it would add up a lot financially. It could be definitely something I could try with foam, and that's a cheaper alternative. Again, it's just a lot of time, effort, trial and error. So it's one of those things like Whiplash, you have to put a lot of time aside for that. But I would definitely love to do a cosplay of Azrael in the future, because he's just such a badass. I mean, look at him. When will you finally cut your hair? I'm not saying I don't like long hair or the style. It's just been a long time since we've seen short hair cosplay Chris. I have no real plans to cut my hair anytime soon. I'm saying this as it's up and not out and flowing. I've never had my hair this long before, and I actually have more confidence with longer hair. I think it suits me. I am a lot happier with it, and don't get me wrong, there have been times in the past where I've had shorter hair and I'm like, oh, this is nice, but I'm not in a job now where I have to have short hair, whereas my previous work, you weren't allowed to have long hair, and I've always wanted to give long hair a crack, and of course Jason Momoa, my inspiration, so that's the goal. I want it down to here, so no real plans to cut the hair anytime soon. Sorry? Hey Chris, will you ever do an Indiana Jones cosplay? No. Honestly, there are so many amazing indie cosplayers out there. One of them being my good buddy Travis Cowsill, who's the co-founder of Hero Hair, who do some amazing cosplay wigs. They've even done my Edward Scissorhands wig, and Travis has like sourced some of the original make and model pieces of Harrison Ford's costume. It's crazy, and just the lengths he goes to weather these pieces, it's absolutely amazing. So much so that other cosplayers are doing the same in terms of tracking down stuff and getting high-end replicas, even the shirts, stuff like that, the belts, harnesses, the fedora. I think it'd just be useless for me to do it, because there's just so many other great indie cosplayers out there. It's just, why bother? I can just sit there and admire them and let it be that. Why don't you do Nightwing or another Batman variant? Also, keep up the great work. I'm really looking forward to the Crow. Firstly, thank you very much, man. I've always wanted to do a Nightwing. I've actually wanted to use this torso as a basis, and I know the comment section is gonna be lit with nipple jokes and nipple puns. Like, it's getting my nipples hard just thinking about it. This is actually a display piece, and like I said, I'm going to address what's going on here at the end of the video, but I definitely would love to do a Nightwing cosplay, but I would love to use that as a basis because I love that look, nipples and all. How do you take care and maintain your long hair? What are the products you use? So for the most part, I have my hair up in the man bun, because obviously I'm doing a lot of work with my hands, and you know, I'm leaning over a bench and hair gets in the way and just gets so annoying. So I just tie it up for the most part. If I go out to like social events and stuff like that, I'll, you know, get the mane out, put the effort in. So I wash my hair like every 3 or 4 days, because some people are like, you have to wash your hair every day, and that actually strips the oils out of your hair, the natural oils that your body and hair produce. So yeah, I wash my hair every 3 to 4 days. It depends. If I'm training a lot and it gets very hot, probably every second day, because my hair gets quite sweaty and grubby, and it's gross. In between that, I spray in a detangler, because the tips of my hair is blonde, like I've got the balayage thing like Jason Momoa. And the bleach parts of my hair do have a tendency to really tangle, and I hate it. I hate tangled hair. It's like a bird's nest. So I'll have it up in the shower, have a shower, get out, let the hair out, spray it with the detangler, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then brush it through, and it just untangles everything smoothly. Let it all dry because it's not good to tie wet hair back, apparently. I'm learning all this new stuff about hair, so that's pretty much my hair routine. I wouldn't say I have a routine down pat. I just don't like having tangled hair, and I just like having it back and out of the way. But then I also like having it down and, you know, showing off the lock. What is the size of your arms flexed and unflexed? Okay, unflexed, so we'll go in inches because that's pretty much the general consensus. So, just under 14 inches unflexed, and if we flex, okay. I'm trying to hold this. I'm shaking. It's the highest peak. 15.5 inches flexed. There you go. At my biggest, I had 17-inch arms, and that was when I was like 21. So that was like when I was in my prime of like bigness. Like I'm 75 kilos now. When I was in my prime, I was 85 kilos of muscle, and it was easy to put on muscle. And I hate saying this because it makes me show my age, but the older you get, the harder it is to maintain it and everything, and you injure yourself. And it's just easier to stay in shape and just lift weights generally, like not really having a strength goal, but just trying to still lift heavy, but also train smart so you don't injure yourself, because I have an ongoing niggling shoulder injury. Sometimes my lower back plays out. I'm really showing my age. Moving on. What comic series do you think is underrated or unappreciated? I wouldn't say it's unappreciated. I think it's just severely underrated and not enough people talk about it, and that is the Earth 1 series, especially the Batman series. I still need to catch up on the Superman series, but Earth 1 was just brilliant. Just the turns it took in terms of story was just crazy, and just the outlook on everything and how Alfred is in the comic series. It was amazing to read. I first read it in the States. I bought the series at Midtown Comics. I think that's the one in New York. And it was crazy. I bought it as a blind buy because everyone was raving about it, and then it just kind of disappeared and no one really talks about it. But if you haven't read them, check them out. They're so amazing. The story that they tell and just how they change these characters up is amazing, and it makes sense. I would definitely love to see that transferred into a live action film. What's the best way to get into cosplay and design when you have the artistic skills of a brain dead squirrel? I have my brain dead squirrel moments from time to time, or should I say a lot. Just get into it because you want to get into it, and you design it because you want to design it, and you have fun from start to finish. Don't ever make it a chore. It's one of those things where you cook up this idea in your head and you let it gestate for a while, and by the end of it, if you're still keen to do it and give it a crack. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least you can say, I gave it a shot. And I have done that so many times where there have been so many failed projects, but at the end of the day, at least I gave it a crack. It's better than wondering what if. So insightful, Stanley. My question is, since you don't do much video game reviews, would you show us what video games you have? I know it might not be much, but I'm curious to see what taste in games you have, even though I'm not a big gamer myself. Damn good question. So I've got the Uncharted series, I've got the Arkham series, I have the Simpsons game, I've got Spyro, of course. I've also got Batman and Robin here. My mates are coming over. One of my mates has never seen this before, and he's going to be watching it for the first time this afternoon. How appropriate to have that on display. I've got MotorStorm. I really got to think about that. Are there any games here? They're all Blu-rays. Oh wow, this is a blast from the past. Look, Gran Turismo. Wow. Now at a platinum price, $29.95. I'm not a big gamer. If I'm playing a game, I've really got to be invested in it. Clearly, in terms of Spyro, that's purely for nostalgic reasons, and it was an amazing game regardless, even if you haven't played the original Spyros before. Uncharted, I played Uncharted after I played the Arkham series, and after I played the Arkham series, my expectations and standards for games like that was so high, I didn't know what else to play, and then everyone's like, play Uncharted, it's like Arkham, but you know, it's like a treasure hunter. And that's when I fell in love with the character of Drake, and you know what that led to? Me cosplaying as him. So they're basically my go-tos, and here and there I've just got random games like for the PS3, like I said, the Simpsons game, I got Motorstorm, and that's pretty much it. I'm a guy of simple taste. For your Q&A session, you said one of your first cosplays was that of a Jedi when you were a kid. Any chances you'd return to your cosplay roots and do a Star Wars costume in the future? Yeah, I am actually gonna one day do Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it's not gonna be like, you know, normal Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's gonna be, you know, cosplay crispy and probably something a bit more outlandish. I don't know if you guys remember that Sideshow Collectibles statue with Obi-Wan Kenobi with the big backpack with all the trinkets like Qui-Gon's lightsaber and stuff like that, and he's trekking through the desert and all his robes are tattered. I'd love to do something like that, but utilize the long hair, grow the beard out. The one thing that I really want to get right is the tunic, because Ewan McGregor's costumes, you know, in the prequels are beautiful, and obviously Alec Guinness's costumes were beautiful as well, but I do prefer Ewan McGregor's costumes in the prequels. It's just something just so simple yet beautiful about the Jedi robes and the tunic and the under tunic. Like, I've really got to brush up on my sewing skills because I do want to do it all from scratch and do it myself, and the belt will probably have to be sourced somewhere else. But in terms of a Jedi cosplay, I am all over that like a fat kid on a cupcake. Definitely want to revisit my roots. I actually want to recreate the photos from when I was a kid out in the living room there with my spray painted brown welly gumboots on and, you know, the bedsheet tunic. It was tragic. Still waiting on Winter Soldier. When will you do that? Never. All right, this is a big one. Q&A question. I'd be curious to know what makes you decide to cosplay something. Not sure if you've answered that before. Your choices always seem odd and totally left field, almost each time. So I'd be curious to know your thought process, because you have really elaborate ones like Whiplash, and then something relatively simple like Casey Jones. And now you're doing the Crow, which doesn't seem like anything you've really cosplayed before. That's the thing, I keep trying to mix things up, daring to be different, not really sticking to the path of, you know, what's trending and stuff like that. I do it because I'm invested in the character, I have a rapport with them, and I just identify something within them. Not to say that, you know, I'm a mad Russian ex-con like Whiplash, but there's just something cool and gnarly about the character that I love. And that's why I choose the characters that I choose to cosplay as. And I think Whiplash also was a technical challenge, not just for myself, but also Miles, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that challenge. I wanted to be challenged in terms of learning new skills, and I have along the way with Whiplash. And then you kind of take a step back, and it's almost like, I'll call it a cosplay vacation, where you have a rest and it's not as intense, and that's why Casey was nice and refreshing and fun to do, and that's why I didn't really document the whole process from start to finish. I just did the end result because I didn't want to have to worry about setting a camera up, because you gotta understand, I don't have a film crew with me. I don't have editors. I do this all by myself, and there are times when you just don't want to film. You just want to be in the zone, be in your element and do your thing. Much like this piece here, which is halfway completed, but I will be doing a video on that regardless. So that's why I choose the cosplays and the characters that I want to do. Like Captain Boomerang was just such a fun character in Suicide Squad, and obviously he's Australian, so that helps a lot to get into character. You don't really have to get into character. And with the Crow, it was always gestating in the back of my mind that that's something I want to tackle and something I want to do. Again, just the grungy, dirty look. I don't know, I like being filthy. On an unlimited budget, what cosplay would you like to build? I wouldn't build it. If I had millions of dollars, I'd walk straight into Ironhead Studios and be like, build me a Batfleck costume in my size. But legally they can't. Do you still build Freddy Krueger gloves? On and off. I've been building gloves, you guys know, since I was 12 or 13 years old, and it got to the point where it was a full-time job for me. I was able to leave grade 10 early because I had a full-time job building these gloves, smashing them out on eBay, and I was making quite good money for it as well. And then things happened, you know, with the whole weapons postal check thing, and friends of mine were also getting cease and desist letters from New Line Cinema, so I kind of stepped back a bit. The last glove I built was for my mate Cam in Tasmania. I built him a Part 6 Freddy's Dead glove from that film, and that was last year. I had a ball making that glove because I hadn't built a glove before then for like 2 years, so it was good to get back in the swing of things. But for me, like, smashing gloves out, you know, order to order, it gets too repetitive, and I hate repetition. I'm not a fan of it. I like to mix things up, keep doing different things. But I still have all my templates out in the garage. I still have, you know, all blank knife pieces and everything, bits of copper, leather gloves. I actually, you guys know this is my my template glove from Mark Petrie over at knifegloves.com. So this is the closest you'll ever get to owning the original hero glove from the first and second Nightmare on Elm Street. It definitely is an investment piece. It cost me $1,000 US, but it's honestly the best 1,000 I've ever spent because this is my baby. This is my jewel. And I actually have an original make and model leather glove that they used on the parts 4, 5, and 6 gloves. So the right hand glove is actually with a friend who I won't name for now, who is building me a part 6 glove, but there you go. That's the same make and model leather glove that they used on the Screen Use gloves. The brand is Wells Lamont. These are from the States and they've got the pull strap there. So these were very popular in the 90s. So much so that this was Al Borland's choice of leather glove on Home Improvement. I kid you not. The things you know with Cosplay Chris. Last question, what's your workout routine and diet? So at the moment I am using the Thor of Oz app and the Thor of Oz training program. You guys know Thor of Oz, my mate Andy, who does an incredible Thor cosplay. He's also a personal trainer. He also has his own app. So I train 3 days on, 1 day off at the moment. Day 1 is leg day, day 2 is a pull day, and day 3 is a push day. So what I mean by pull day is, you know, a lot of back stuff, biceps, you know, rear delt stuff, pulling ropes towards you, stuff like that. And then push day, of course, is, you know, you got your chest, your shoulders, triceps, stuff like that. Take a day off, repeat it again. So I usually hit legs 2 to 3 times a week because I really struggle to put size on my legs and I really want to just have everything in balance, especially my back as well. I just want to have that wide kind of, you know, V taper going on. So that's training. I also have started intermittent fasting, so I will stop eating at 8 o'clock at night and I won't eat till midday the next day. But in that fasting period, I will have black coffee. I also have branched chain amino acids to stop my body going catabolic and utilizing muscle as energy. So that's the fasting part. In terms of the diet, I honestly don't have a set diet. I kind of just wing it each and every day. After midday, it's probably 4 egg whites, 2 full eggs, a cup of oats with some natural peanut butter. I'll go train, then I'll have a shake blended with banana and blueberries. Dinner, it might be a frozen kind of protein meal that you heat up, like some lamb and sweet potato. And then before bed, you can get like a low calorie, high protein ice cream here in Australia. I think it's like 320, that's the name of it or something like that. And that's like a peanut butter flavor. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, I don't really kind of watch what I eat too much. Like I try not to be too strict and too boring about it because that's really when you can go off the rails and, you know, just not have fun with it. And that's what it's all about. You gotta have fun with it. Otherwise it gets boring and then next minute you're eating 50,000 Big Macs. So everything in moderation. So guys, that is it for the Q&A. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. Now, let's talk about this piece here. This is a replica of Chris O'Donnell's Robin armor from Batman and Robin. This comes courtesy from my good friend Chris Robinson of GC5 Effects. So I am in the process of making a display piece of this, and you're probably wondering, why the hell do you want to do a display piece of that? As silly as Batman and Robin is, as silly as Batman Forever is, you have to admit, those costumes that Jose Fernandez and his crew made for those films are beautiful. Nipples and all, whatever. They are beautiful pieces of costume engineering. They're seamless, they're stunning to look at. They're not stunning to wear from what I know. So Chris was fortunate enough to get his hands on a production-made Robin torso, a foam latex Robin torso. He took a mold of it and he now makes castings. This is a urethane casting. We've got the cod piece too. Chris is in the process of making the neck seal, the belt, and the eye mask. So that is going to complete the display. So I'm thinking of doing a video on my process and progress up till now. So guys, drop a comment below if you guys are keen to see that, because I do also want to explain how I did the certain washes and the metallic ice blue on the black parts of the suit, and how I did the Redbird, the cape clips as well. So everything is as screen accurate as possible, including the cape clips. So it's all mounted on a mannequin. I have made the base as well out of MDF, and I've got some lights here. So I'm really happy with the progress. This is definitely, you know, kind of a holy grail / investment piece for me, because I've always wanted to have something like this on display, and eventually when I have, you know, a proper man cave, just have something on display. Now, if you guys are wondering where the Prime 1 Batman is, he's literally right here. Hello. So guys, let me know in the comment section if you want to see a video on the progress of this bad boy. I'm beyond happy with how it's looking, and a massive thank you to Chris at GC5 Effects for giving me the opportunity to bring my grail piece and, you know, childhood to fruition with something like this. Nipples and all. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Have yourselves a cracker of a weekend. I hope you're well, hope you're happy, be merry, be silly, and until next time, geeks, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.